Hello, everyone. Welcome. We've got an absolutely awesome interview coming up. This is Irene from the UK. She suffered with chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, for 33 years, and we're going to get stuck right in. All right, let's do this. So, Irene, I would love to hear all about your story. So, in terms of your recovery and everything, how did the illness initially start and when?
Okay, I was really very well. I had three children. One was 10 years old, one was 5, and the other was 4. I had a very, very active life. I dropped the children at school, went and did some fundraising things. I had to buy some stuff to make hot dogs. And I went off, made 100 hot dogs, went back to the school, sold them all, cashed up. And then I was driving home, which was about 12 kilometers from the school. I got halfway home and I thought, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can't go any further. So luckily I had a friend who lived just there. I stopped off at hers and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me, but can you just take me home? I can't drive anymore. So she took me home. I got into bed and I was there for the next 18 months. I
Wow.
couldn't
Oh, my goodness.
do anything. So I phoned the school and said to them, somebody would collect my children in the afternoon. And when I spoke to the secretary later, she said to me, you sounded drunk. So I said,
Wow.
no, I don't even really drink. And that was just the start of it, completely out of the blue. I didn't feel ill. I just felt quite normal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in terms of when you were at your worst, what were your main symptoms and what did it feel like?
Okay. It was this total lack of energy. I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't concentrate on anything. That's where I started watching sport a lot because it happened to be the World Cup cricket was on and I could have it on. I didn't have to understand it. I just saw people running around doing silly things but it kept me entertained because I couldn't read because if I read one sentence, I couldn't remember what I'd read. I'd have to go
Okay.
back to the beginning. Um, I was very sensitive to light, sound, touch. If I was lying down, I sort of thought, oh, okay, I think I might be able to just go and make some tea or something. But by the time I stood up and just walked a couple of steps, I felt as if I was going to pass out.
My goodness.
So I went back. I just lay in bed. And when my children came home, they would jump into bed and would do their homework, and that was it. Then they had to just go away and play.
Wow. My
So
goodness. Incredible.
it was really, really bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do to try to recover? So I'm sure you've tried so many things.
Well, at the beginning, I just went to the doctors, asked for blood tests, and they just said, "There's nothing you can do. You just got to eat healthily and do exercise." And I thought, that's great. Chance is a fine thing because if I could even get up, I could do exercise. But just staying in bed that first time, because nobody really knew anything about it at that stage. It was just called yuppie flu.
Oh, my goodness.
It was just people that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, there was quite a lot around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just actually stayed in bed for the 18 months and gradually I got up, but I found I was left with things like being very stressed by things that I wouldn't normally be stressed about.
Mm-hmm.
So I found I was reacting to things which I wouldn't normally.
Mm-hmm.
And gradually I was able to do things, but I always had this low level fatigue. It was just there all the time. And I managed. I got on with life and forgot I even had ME to a degree. I just knew I wasn't as good as I had been. Then in 2017, I was working in a Bupa home. I was doing 3 12-hour shifts. And I found that I could manage that.
Okay.
But if I did any more than that, it took me 4 or 5 days to recover. And then I had a month's leave and I picked up 2 viruses.
Hmm.
And when I was due to go back, I woke up and I can't get out of bed.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I phoned and I said, I'm sorry, I can't get out of bed. So I saw the doctor and she booked me off work for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I said, I'm not well enough to go back to work. And it was worrying me because I really loved my job. But so eventually I had to say to them, I just don't know which days I would feel well enough to go to work and which ones I won't.
Hmm.
So I retired.
Wow.
And then I started doing quite a lot of walking just to try and keep my fitness up. And I was walking 10 miles a day
Wow.
every day. And I think that eventually it just got to the stage where I just couldn't. I
Hmm.
walked up the famous Box Hill.
Hmm.
You've heard me talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And I walked up the one day because it's a very steep hill. But anyway, I managed to get myself to the top of the hill and then down the other side, caught the bus back. And that was it. I saw the doctor and I said, I don't know what to do. And they just said, well, there's nothing much you can do. You just have to put up with it.
Wow.
That was 2020, and that was just before the lockdown.
Okay. And
So I didn't need.
what was it like for
Sorry.
you after that happened?
Well, I just came home. I was staying at home, and they offered me a place on the chronic fatigue syndrome. The NHS have a program,
Hmm. Yeah.
so they offered me a place on that.
Hmm.
So I went for an initial interview, and then when I came home, well, we were in lockdown. So that for me was such a relief. It took away the pressure of having to go out
Okay.
and act like I was normal when I wasn't normal. I knew I didn't have the energy to do
Right.
that. But it was that constant sort of feeling, I want to get out. I want to go for a
Right.
walk. I want to do the things that I should be able to do, and I couldn't. Well, during lockdown, it was fine because I had somebody that was here that came to visit me and got stuck here because of lockdown.
Oh, wow.
I had somebody looking after me the whole time, so it was okay for me. But once they left, it was such a problem because I can't stand long. Well, I couldn't stand long enough to cook my breakfast, wash my dishes, to get a shower. I mean, that was like an amazing experience if I could have a shower because it was getting dressed and all those sort of things. So it was very difficult.
Wow.
And
That's
then
really tough.
in the last, I'd say 4 months, it really got tough.
Okay.
I couldn't do anything. I managed to get somebody to come in and clean for me twice a month. And she was very, very kind and always offered to do whatever else I needed doing. And then, of course, then I watched a lot of YouTube. I was watching a lot of programs on CFS. I joined the CFS, the ME Society. I joined them. I watched Raylan, your friend Raylan. So I watched a lot of her YouTubes. I joined that Decode ME, which is, they're doing that large study on, what's it, genetics. So I did that. Tried every different sort of diet that you could come, went plant-based, went this way, went that way, and I thought, oh no, I can't be doing this. I don't have the energy just to get through the day, let alone changing a whole cupboard full of groceries and a lot of it's a lot of extra work. I couldn't do it. Yeah. And then I came across you.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So, and how did you find brain retraining? How did you find my program?
I found your program by watching Raylan, and she was talking about brain retraining, and I'd watched a couple of other videos of hers, and then I thought, no, this is not for me because this is not in my mind. This is a very real thing, and don't tell me it's in
Exactly.
my mind.
Yeah, I was the same when I heard it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight away you think, this is just like you saying it's in my brain, but it's not.
It's not.
And then I
The
think
symptoms are
I
real.
saw you describing it more as that your body was stuck in fight or flight
Right.
mode. And I mean, I could see that because I was constantly feeling like my shoulders would be coming up to my ears, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Relax. And I actually am a very laid back person on the whole until all this happened.
Hmm.
And then if people just knocked on my door, I would just about jump out of my skin. And
Yeah, I was
what
the same.
about? It was that sort of reaction to everything. If there
Hmm.
was a noise, I'd get such a fright. So yeah, I could see that I was wired. So
Hmm.
that then resonated with me. That in fact, yes, I can understand being stuck in that fight or flight because that is exactly what it felt like. Yeah.
And so, in terms of the brain training program, what kind of progress have you noticed since you've been doing it? So, I'd love to hear about your results.
Goodness me, yes. One thing I have never ever felt is that I will not get over this. I've always thought whether I would be healed completely or whether it was just going to be that I would be able to manage it really well, like I had done for quite a long time. So I've never had that feeling I'm not going to get well. So I've always had confidence. And then starting on your brain retraining, within the first day or two, I was like jumping around and I can do this.
Awesome, fantastic,
So confidence has not ever been a problem for me. That was fine. It was the relaxation that I found
wonderful.
a little bit more difficult because I'm not used to being, I like my brain to be active, and I usually am thinking of 100 things at once, and busy. I've always been busy, busy, busy. So as soon as my confidence was up, then I was starting to, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the next thing. And I had to start learning to do both.
Wonderful. And what can you do now that you couldn't do before?
Oh goodness, it's like chalk and cheese. Now I can go wherever I want to again, back to do things on the spur of the moment.
Okay.
I mean, there's a place for planning, but I'm also quite happy to say, oh, it's a lovely day today. I'm going to go out. So
Such a good feeling to have that
this
freedom.
last,
The freedom to be
yeah,
able to just
absolutely.
choose whatever it is that you'd love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
This last weekend we went up to London. We went up on the Saturday, and instead of taking us 2 hours to get there, it took us 5 hours.
Wow.
And it was a lot of walking, which I haven't been able to do forever. And by the time I got to London, normally I would have had to go to bed, and that was it. And I would have had to be Ubered back down here. I wouldn't have been able to catch the train, but it was fine. We sat around. We didn't do much, but we sat around and chatted, and I was fine. I got up in the morning, fine. Travelled back. It was actually not a bad trip at all, and woke up this morning, felt fine.
Awesome.
So it's
Fantastic.
all good. And
Amazing.
people are saying to me, "You look better." You know,
Yeah,
not that I think I looked ill before, but they all say, "Gosh, you're looking much better." It's
wonderful.
evident, I think.
Fantastic. Awesome. Congratulations to you. You put in the work, so massive well done. My goodness. What a good feeling. I remember such an amazing feeling of gratitude, being able to do even simple things, even just being able to wake up in the morning feeling energy and planning and doing whatever it is that you'd love to do. What an amazing
It
feeling.
is, yeah.
Fantastic. So, what were some of the patterns that have been keeping you stuck?
Okay, I think I am an overachiever. Always have to do everything 100%, at least 100%. I know even in my work, and I've done a lot of work with people with dementia, people I've worked with have said to me, you have very high standards for yourself, and you push yourself, you know. So I think I've always been like an overachiever. I was a people pleaser, not anymore.
Very good.
And always wanting to look after everybody else, you know. So yeah, those are things I think that have kept me where I am. Sort of looking after other people and then thinking, oh well, maybe somewhere along the line, if there's time and energy, I'll look after you.
What have you learned from this, and how has it helped you to grow?
I think by doing this brain retraining, I've learned who I am,
Wonderful.
and realizing that I can't give anything from an empty place. So I've got to be well to be able to help other people. So I don't have to change who I am, but I do have to change the way I go about things.
Wonderful.
It's me first, and then others, and not in a selfish way. It's just look after you, then you're giving from a place of fullness rather than just draining what little bit you have.
Wonderful. Fantastic. What a balanced way to live life. Yeah, looking after yourself first, being kind to yourself, and then helping as many people as you like.
Yeah.
But in balance. Awesome. Very good.
Yeah, I think part of being a people pleaser is because you just don't think you're enough. You don't think you're good enough. So you have to prove it by doing things so
Right.
people will like you or think that you are something. And I think I've come to terms with it. I'm actually a nice person. I am enough. I am enough.
Awesome. Fantastic.
So,
what a realization. Incredible. Love it. So what are you looking forward to next?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the freedom of just doing whatever I want to, whenever I want to, without having to plan. Before it had to be, okay, this week I'm not allowed to do anything, so that I've
I understand.
10 minutes energy to do that little thing. Now I don't have to.
Wonderful.
Okay. I will still take breaks because obviously I'm not completely there yet.
On track. On track.
So there's knowing I have to carry on doing all the things I'm doing, looking after my body, listening to my body. I think that's really important.
Yes.
Listening to your body.
Self-compassion.
Yes, self-compassion.
Awesome. So if someone was thinking about joining my program, what would you say to them?
Okay. I would say you have to really invest yourself into it. You have got to be 100% sure you can do this, but you have to know that you're going to try your hardest at it. Put it that way. You also can't put a price on your health. At what, where do you say what's most valuable, your health or investing in it? Yeah. So to me, it was saying, what price am I prepared to pay to be well?
Exactly. What's more important than your health? Nothing is literally the most important thing.
Exactly. So invest in yourself now in any way you can. Give yourself the best shot.
And look at you now. My goodness. Massive well done. Awesome. Fantastic. So is there any advice or wisdom that you'd like to share with others?
Oh, well, I don't think I'm a wise enough person to do that.
Oh, you're modest. You're very modest.
Okay. What would I say I think self-compassion is really important. Learn who you are, love who you are, and just be gentle with yourself. And listen to your body. I think that's something you've taught me, is listen to your body.
Excellent.
And sometimes you just need to be quiet to hear what your body is actually saying. And don't let your mind necessarily rule what you're going to do. You have to say, I want to do this, and if I'm going to do it. It's to listen, have your mind and your body listening to each other.
Excellent. Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much, Irene. That was an incredible interview. Thank you. My goodness, it makes such a difference sharing this with people and letting them realize what's possible for them as well. So you do one thing. I'd love you to share this interview with anyone that you know that's going through chronic fatigue syndrome, letting them know what's possible. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you, Irene. Bye-bye. If you would like to watch more inspiring videos like this, you can watch my clients' victory stories, or you can watch my full recovery story here.